Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of How Did This Get Booked? I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning, and I have held just about every job in professional wrestling, except selling popcorn. I have been doing professional wrestling for now close to 13 years, almost 14 now, so I kind of know what I'm doing when I critique things. At least I just assume that I know what I'm talking about. At least I know what I'm talking about. Maybe not so much what I'm doing is the question. Do as I say, not as I do is what I'm fishing for right here. And I am joined as always by my co-host, my tag team partner, my good friend as always, Zane Riley. Zane, how are you doing, my friend?
Fabulous, Jake. How are you?
I am very good, and I am, would be doing a lot better as always, but I have to watch subpar professional wrestling and talk to a non-wrestling fan about it. So I have a lot of explaining to do, but most notably I need to explain who our non-wrestling fan guest on the program is today. It is comedian Evan Pittfield. Evan, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jake. How's it going?
Very good, very good. We're going to start, as we always start, with all of our non-wrestling fans on the podcast, and I ask about your background. I know you said you had a little bit of a knowledge of what professional wrestling is, but I want to get a grasp of what exactly is in your mind when you think of professional wrestling.
Yeah, so it's I've seen professional wrestling, but it's been quite some time. It's been over a decade. I think I was actually still like a sperm the last time I watched.
So it'd be like 2005?
It's something like that. Okay. I will say it was bringing back some memories, but watching it this time was almost as if I had never seen it because it's been such a detachment. So.
Well, who are the top people when you were watching?
Right, like so when I guess I'm part of the new gen. So I always had like my dad's.
You're part of the Diesel and Shawn Michaels generation.
Exactly.
Jean-Pierre Lafitte.
Oh, please, Jean-Pierre Lafitte.
I had old tapes of my dad's with like Ken Shamrock on it, but the new stuff at the time was like The Rock and Stone Cold and stuff like that. So I never saw Stone Cold with hair, if that helps.
So you never saw WCW Stone Cold?
No.
Okay, so there's that place. That's how present you were. Yeah. And Stone Cold was still wrestling at the time you were watching. Yeah. Okay, so you're talking about Attitude Era.
So you probably saw In Your House 19, DX, Kid Shamrock was there, Shawn Michaels was there.
So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I could say I was alive when they had to change to WWE.
Okay.
Because the whole World Wildlife thing. But again, it feels like a century ago, so.
Okay, well, it kind of was, and there's been a lot of ground covered since then.
Things have changed.
And obviously during your time, WCW still existed. So when I asked you, were you aware of WCW?
No, not at all.
Well, that's really surprising to me because have you always grown up here in the South and?
No, so I grew up in New Jersey.
Okay,
that's no longer surprising.
No longer surprising whatsoever. That explains everything. The Yankees were probably like, we don't recognize WCW or any wrestling below the Mason-Dixon line. That's for dumb hicks down there.
The Braves can go fuck themselves.
And Ted Turner and Jane Fonda, too.
Mm-hmm. I was too busy watching baseball and paying tolls and what have you. So.
Not being able to pump your own gas.
That's right. It was, what an inconvenience that was.
But you thought Don Morocco was one of the best champions of all time.
I still do. So.
Well, the show that we were discussing for this podcast at this very moment is the WCW Classic SIN, which, Zane, you may or may not remember when I was doing the mock-up for the How Did This Get Booked website. One of the titles that I put in, like, hey, here's the title of the show that we'll be reviewing. Just as a mock-up name, I put WCW SIN.
There you go.
As episode 1, just kind of as a fake mock-up of what the website might look like.
Here we are 16 times later.
16 episodes later, and we finally get around to doing it when initially I thought this was going to be episode 1. So
we're at a Ric Flair amount of
the
podcast, yes.
But this show took place at the Conseco Fieldhouse, which is where the Indiana Pacers play. So that means it takes place in Indianapolis, Indiana. And it took place on January 14th, 2001. 2001. And the attendance for the show was 6,617 people, which seems like a lot. But in research of that, come to find out that the building holds 18,000. So this is only a third of the capacity of the building.
Everybody gets floor seats, guys.
And also, I found out that roughly about this time, WCW was drawing crowds of 5,000 people. If for some of their pay-per-views, most specifically Heatwave 2000 drew about 5,000 people. So the fact that WCW is only about 1,000 people away from ECW, quite an interesting fact, and also probably makes you think like, gosh, I mean, ECW was kind of on the right path.
Yeah,
they
were doing
that.
It.
So
I feel like with the demographic, maybe if Craigslist had been around at the time, more people would have maybe attended.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Twitter wasn't around, Facebook wasn't around, YouTube wasn't around. They could have capitalized on that market and hit that social media market and stuff like that.
But the internet was in full effect because you see WCW.com on all of the banners the whole time.
Yeah, it is about that time in wrestling where like we have to plaster our website everywhere.
Because websites are now a thing.
Yeah, and especially, because I think this is roughly pretty close to the sale to like AOL and that whole drama. I didn't have enough time to do the research on that. I'm sure most people will do, research on it later and stuff like that.
Do it yourselves.
Yeah, do it yourself. But
this is a DIY podcast.
Yes.
DIY some homework.
This is roughly about the time when all of that stuff is going on, the dispute over the ownerships and AOL and Eric Bischoff trying to come in and like buy the company. A lot of this stuff is going on at this moment in time. But yeah, this is that time.
In fact, it was kind of weird. Like I was trying to like analyze everything I could, and the banners actually said WCW plus com.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that where's the dot?
Yeah, there's no dot.
It's Linux. It's got to be Linux or some sort. Right. It's got to be something along those lines. But yeah, I was confused as well. It like that was the other thing too. Maybe the vinyl guys like, what's this WCW? Is that a dot?
That was actually back in the day where you had to fully type addresses, so you couldn't afford to get it wrong because you couldn't find it otherwise.
There's no autofill here.
That's right. So maybe that's why maybe it was only a third of the audience because the website URL wasn't.
Just fucking put it on there. Who cares?
Yeah, they were pushing WCW plus com. No wonder why nobody could like log on for tickets.
This is why the company went out of business. No one could go to the website.
Well, we've figured this out. Maybe we can fold up this entire podcast.
We've done it.
We've done it.
No more. The circle is now a plus.
That's exactly what the problem was.
This has been another episode. How did this get booked?
But anyways, this show was actually, the January WCW show was originally always sold out. But of course, now we are way past the golden era of the NWO. And that glory years, so now they've changed it to Sin. But it's even funny, this is like people always talk about this being one of the last pay-per-views of WCW. I like how two of the three WCW pay-per-views, like one was named Sin and then
it was Greed.
And one was Greed. So
it was the one in the middle.
It was, I believe,
was it Slamboree? No, Slamboree was prior.
Yeah, no, I think it was like a Slamboree. It might have been Slamboree.
I think you might be answering another joke's last question of mine. So in the very intro of the video, they're kind of flashing like all these adjectives, and I kind of hate myself for writing this, but it said envy, and then greed, and then wrath, and then pride, gluttony, lust, and I'm sitting there thinking like, this is a Donald Trump campaign. Every single one of those things are his exact character. Well, maybe not. Actually, there was one called Integrity. Never mind. Sorry.
No, that's a sin.
Wait a minute. What are those all like names of other events, or is this...
No, that's what we were.
Those were all like the names of the deadly sins and stuff like that. But that does bring up a good point. Okay. If like two pay-per-views. Coming up, they're going to name a pay-per-view Greed. Yeah. Maybe if WCW was around long enough, they would have had, WCW Sloth.
Oh, man.
WCW Gluttony.
And the long run of it all, like the big payoff could have been that the Zodiac came back and won everything.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Or Eric Bischoff's in the middle of a field going, "What's in the box?
Oh, please!
What's in the box?" And it's like Hulk Hogan's head or something. Like, that would have been priceless.
And then the world would have been better for it. Oh, man.
Or at least Bubba the Love Sponge wife would be better for
it. Please.
I tried to hold back like all insults. I was trying to watch this with an open mind. It's just that when I watch it, it kind of reminds me.
Yeah.
If that's what you're doing,
do you think you're going to run into Buff Bagwell outside that door?
That's the door. No, but I couldn't determine what. So it's WCW SIN 2001. And I couldn't determine like what was worse in that year, like this show or 9/11.
Well, if we're gonna get there, let's get there now. This show.
Funny, this is supposed to be our first episode.
Yep.
First show that we were supposed to
now
discuss.
It's our last.
Now it's our last. So
WCW was an inside job, guys.
It really was.
Yeah, it was. We'll bring it back down.
But,
good observation.
On a lamer note of things, like I was saying, it did bring back some memories, and I started like wrestling my cat before I watched this video. I got pumped up actually.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool, and he tapped out
right away.
So right away.
Did he give up a fight?
He scratched my fucking face, but before, I mean, I still won as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you can just throw him out.
I just remember I just remember what it felt like. I always wanted to go to one live, and I never have. So, but on TV, you have to watch it. So it was pretty fun.
Well, if you went to this one, you would have been in the land of like Adidas long sleeve shirts and Harley Davidson short sleeve shirts and baseball caps. So
I was actually I had an observation that this was so long ago that everybody in the audience looked like Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit.
It would be that time.
You mean Fred Durst, who went to my high school? Fred Durst, no big whoop. Yeah, you're right.
Oh wow, he had education.
Yeah,
Oh, that's.
I didn't say he didn't graduate. He just went there.
Okay, that makes.
He was locked up there for a while.
Yeah, we did have a big barbed wire fence around the perimeter of our high school. True story.
True story.
All right, Huskies.
Any other general observations that you saw from just you being like a non-wrestling fan or unaware of WCW that struck you?
So one thing I was wondering, of course you see they're all strong, like patterns, right? They're all strong, they're all in shape. One pattern I noticed, is it a prerequisite to be a wrestler that you have to have a minimum of 9 tattoos all over your body?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least have someone around you that has enough to make up for you.
Okay.
Like me and Jake work because he has 4, but I've got 40.
Yeah.
So I get him, and then I can parlay a few people in with me that don't have any. Mm-hmm. It's got to be
it's like a cover fee. Really,
yeah, it's like
right?
an average.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now here and there, just some random stuff. I'll probably bring up here later. Another random observation is there's a huge kind of macho feeling from the men in wrestling, but none of them have chest hair. So it's kind of because it's kind of weird to be like, hey, I'm gonna kick your ass, and then he takes off his shirt and it's a nice, sexy, waxed stomach.
Glistening.
Yeah, it kind of conflicts with what I was expecting.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing though. In 2001, it's a little odd. It may still be a little bit odd now, but maybe to you, obviously, it's you're pointing it out. But yeah, but now it's pretty common.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen a movie someone like Ryan Reynolds?
Mm-hmm.
They're just completely just unshaven and stuff like that.
I guess I'm just upset because I went the other route, and now I have to do manscaping to catch up.
Yep.
You
gotta get on our level now.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset about that.
Don't worry, I'm right there with you. So, jumping right into it, match number 1, cruiserweight title, Shane Helms versus Chavo Guerrero Jr. And of course, the gentleman who is refereeing this contest is non-grade-haired Scott Armstrong, still hanging on to that.
Still living the dream.
Still living the dream. Maybe a little bit heavily dyed, but hey, more power to you, brother.
Exactly, yeah.
He
had a job, so whatever.
He had a job that he could afford dyeing his hair, you know what I'm saying? But
you had to shave yours because you couldn't dye it.
But, very, one of the, definitely, of all the Armstrongs, just as nice and smart company man, still working today, very well respected in what he does, and very smart to be realize, hey, referee might be a better career option for him. Great guy.
Silver Fox.
I found out, his name is Shane Helms, but his stage name is Sugar Shane Helms. And I wrote down that I typically take my coffee with cream and sugar, but not with Sugar Shane Helms. I don't want him in my coffee. He looks like if Barbie had a sex change.
Sugar Shane.
Oh, Sugar Shane.
I mean, he put on a pretty good show, but
yeah.
It was just, again, it was clearly a sign of the times, I think, for me. So it was entertaining and awkward to watch.
Well, that's the thing, too, is you may not be aware of Sugar Shane's gimmick character at the time, is that he was part of a boy band called 3 Count, which is now defunct at this time.
And there were only 2 of them at that time, too, weren't there?
So, yeah, it's 2
so just
count.
him and Shannon Moore.
Yes. because Evan Courageous had broke off from them.
And was in a later match on this show.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
But they were 3 count and they were this boy band because it was of the time of Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and all that stuff, and they had a whole performance, and of course, he's wearing the baggy
cargo
Jinko
shirt.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's kind of weird is that I didn't know that, but I have never seen anyone in a boy band wear clothes that are a little bit baggy. It's always like dick tight. So he was kind of like, I'm in a boy band, but
the thing about Shane Helms is
he's like, I need to be comfortable too, guys.
His dick is too large for dick tight jeans.
Yes, so you gotta have some room.
That's a known fact.
Yeah,
I would definitely be embarrassed to get my ass kicked by someone who's apparently in a boy band. I think if anything could deplete all of my testosterone at once, I think it would be losing to Sugar Shane Helms.
And Chavo did everything he could not to.
Exactly. And, and they kept bringing up about Chavo playing mind games during this thing, but I don't know what type of mind games were ever played. It seemed like it was a pretty straightforward contest.
He didn't steal anything?
No.
He didn't lie about anything?
No.
It was pretty funny. So, I tried to look into the audience to see, what people, what they were writing on their posters, just so I could try to maybe catch up on some of their, catchphrases and stuff. And literally, it's kind of easy to miss, but somebody was in the audience during this fight, and they had a poster that just said, "I'm drunk." I swear to God, that's the truth. Is that someone's catchphrase, or is that just someone's...
Just a statement of life.
Okay.
I went to SIN in 2001, guys.
I was the guy that had the sign that said, "I'm drunk."
No, and in their defense, I really hope they pre-gamed it, because if it's anything like baseball, it's like $9 a beer. So if he's drunk there, he's probably also bankrupt. So.
Well, the thing is, the idea is that, especially in this show, as it progressively gets later in the show, the quality of the matches go down. So hopefully he's feeling a good buzz during this match.
He won't know later that it's bad.
Yeah, where this right here, pretty good match, I think.
It was very good. A little mechanical, but because they had so much, every reversal ever in this match.
Well, that's the thing, is we're going to see a lot of guys on this card, like your Jamie Nobles, a lot, guys that are integral in the part of the production now. That
Cruiserweight heavy.
Yeah, well, they're in charge of WWE, talent and stuff like that right now, and of course they probably tell a lot of the young guys now, "Oh, you're doing too much." But yet they're
because I already fucking did it.
Yeah, but at the same time too, when they were young, they did the same exact thing.
Oh yeah.
So it's funny how that cycle always happens. It's funny that someone like a Ricky Morton will tell somebody, "Hey, you did too much up there." But when Ricky Morton was young, he was doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And then the same thing happens now with your Shane Helms and your Jamie Nobles, I'm sure. Those type of cycles repeat and stuff like that. Although I feel like those guys are a little bit more understanding than probably even Ricky Morton's are today. Yeah. They're like, "Hey, I was young, I get it, but maybe don't do that. Hey, I was the same way, and I regret doing that." So
next time Shane Helms tells me I did too much, I'm going to say, "I saw you in 2001 SIN. Fuck you."
And of course his reply might be, "Yeah, I was an idiot."
Yeah. You see me now, Zane Riley? You think I do that shit now?
I noticed... I noticed, from the commentators, that Shane Helms seemed to have, signature moves that he applied, I guess what he thought silly names to it, right? So the first one I heard, apparently there was a move called the Sugar Smack, which I ate a lot of as a kid, and as an adult. And then the other one that he had which was cool, was Nightmare on Helm Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really glad that he called it that, because this fight also ruined my dreams. So,
wow!
It was
coming out swinging. Evan Pittfield.
It's the first wrestling match I've seen in over a decade, and okay. So to redeem it, though, the one thing that was kind of cool was the sunset flip, and I mean that seems to take a lot of acrobatic. I can't do that.
They jumped outside the ring twice,
from the top,
and a sunset flip.
Well, you got to understand.
Simple.
Yeah.
You got to understand, even coming to your house, there's 2 steps outside. I'm out of breath, right? So, to see someone do a flip.
So you can't relate to all of the over-the-top stuff.
No,
but something more attainable, you feel that's pretty fucking cool, because maybe I could do that, but not as good as this guy did.
It's baby steps for me.
I understand. No, I accept that. I understand that.
It's like falling for a chick that's not exactly hot, but she's hot because you feel like she's within your league, I guess. Yeah. You probably do.
Right.
But that bitch cosplays and that shit makes up for it.
Yeah.
It's a league of my own, really. absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Understandable. I get that. I grab that.
Quick. One thing that did jog a memory was the name. So Chavo Guerrero, is he related to Eddie Guerrero by any chance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I do. I think he like passed away when I stopped watching wrestling.
So it's your fault?
Yeah, it's my. Yeah, damn it. I do have a hatred towards people with that exact name. So
Yeah.
It could be
Guerrero
my,
hatred.
Yeah.
Of all. Baseball Guerreros, wrestling Guerreros, football Guerreros.
What it other than like what does cruiserweight mean? Is it just lightweight? Is it just another? Like,
Yeah, it's just another way.
It's a weight class, if you would.
You know,
Like, back then it was 215.
something like that. Yeah, maybe about that.
Because nowadays it's 205.
Yes.
Another question I had, they were both like, this happened a few times throughout the show, but this is the first time it happened. They were both kind of like down, and then the ref just like started counting to 10.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that applied to WWF or WWE, so it's like if it is the match just over, like if they'd reach his 10 and something.
Yeah, it'd be like a double count out or like a no contest.
Okay.
Just something else to add a little bit more
Drama, stakes.
Because you see at like 7 they start moving again and they're back into the match.
Because I guess in general, you can't. I guess it might be there as a safety net, so they're also not laying there for half an hour. Like, people want to go home eventually, right?
That or if they're super tired, they can have a couple seconds to breathe,
Mm-hmm.
kind of get back in the game.
Okay. Yeah, it was just I've never seen that before. Like if somebody, I feel like that's the amount of sleep I get is 10 seconds every day. I feel
It's
like
the 10 seconds.
Yeah. I feel like I'm like at 9. I'm like, all right. That's like my snooze pretty much. So I felt bad.
And I gotta say, the crowd audio mixed very well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it sounds super hot, but I don't see a whole lot of people reacting too much. But like makes me think there's like there's 3 times more people in this building than there actually are.
They've sold it out in voices.
Yes, exactly.
They've piped in the remaining 12,000.
The people that are there are excited, but it sounds like there's 3 times as many people.
You just don't
there.
see the excited ones.
Exactly.
For secondhand market, I guess it's kind of like if you didn't make the match, here's the podcast of the match.
Yeah.
And then it's like I should have been there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go the next time and there's 10 people there. It's like what the hell happened?
We've wrestled there as well in front of the 10.
Absolutely.
I had another random observation. Something to maybe give me some motivation to start wrestling. It seems like to be a ref, you absolutely do not need to be in shape.
No.
So like, there's these 2 like titans like fighting in the ring, and then Hank Hill is like the referee. So is there? I mean, does it benefit you to be in shape as a ref for the match? Or?
Oh yeah, because it's a lot of up and down and runs and jumps out of the way. And kind of
it's
stuff.
tougher than you think, and you definitely need to wear knee pads because you're always jumping and landing on your knees and stuff like that. So it's far more active than what you think.
But on the other hand, if you saw like some super jack referee and then you saw 2 small guys, you're gonna take these wrestlers serious because that referee is massive. So you still need more of the everyman almost of the like body type or archetype of for referee. Yeah. But nonetheless, still very active, still very athletic.
Well, it's the referee of this match, Scott Armstrong. Yep. Very, very good wrestler, but not a very large stature. And he could have been focused more on his wrestling career, and he could have had like a couple of good years and then been fired. But he decided to go down the route of becoming a referee, and now he's working with the WWE even today. So he's held a job for
longer than both the guys in this match.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, because I was like, I would assume you probably don't want like the Scrappy Doo effect. Right, where the ref is like this very small, kind of out of shape guy, like break it up, like that. Probably.
But that's the thing. If him being a former wrestler gives him a little bit of validity, you know what I'm saying? Like Big John McCarthy from UFC, But obviously you don't want him to be Big John McCarthy. Yeah. Roughing a cruiserweight match. that you
twice as big as everybody involved.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be like a Royal Caribbean cruiserweight, I guess.
All right, next thing up is Ric Flair in the back. They show him earlier today. Typical Ric Flair. He's got the short hair. Just
looking more like David than anything.
Yeah, when he got out of the limo, I was like, oh, is David here with him? And I'm like, nope, that's Rick.
I like that Tenay was just kind of like hanging out with the microphone propped. Like, obviously, this is the segment for the interview. But if this was just to happen, is he just creeping out in the backstage, just holding the microphone just in case shit goes down?
Listen, Mike Tenay's creepy. Okay?
He is fucking creeper.
I was like a little. They always do like semi-cheesy dialogue, and I think sometimes it could change like the way the audience thinks about it. Like in this scene, they're interviewing Rick, like, who's the mystery guy? Who's the mystery guy? And Rick is like, I gotta tell you, he is under lock and key. And like the commentator's like, oh shit, he's under lock and key, guys. And I'm just like, is this wrestling or is this Saw? Like, where is this guy being held captive that he's under lock and key?
Game? You wanna play a game? Yeah. Well, guess what? I'm the dirtiest player in that game. Woo!
Yeah. Is it wrestling or is this guy's life literally on the line?
Yeah, it is.
Like, do we need to get the cops?
He's got to he has to escape lock and key to get to the ring during the match or his whole family dies.
Listen, I think Vince Russo still has a hand in booking. Don't rule that out, my friend.
Brother, I booked now. We might be doing this soon. I got a job with a pencil.
We'll get into the match. I most think that you're going to book it. But next thing up is Mean Gene Okerlund talking to Johnny Bull and Big Vito. This is funny thing about Big Vito, because he's going to be taking on his brother Reno.
Yeah.
I was an avid watcher of WCW, and I didn't remember this storyline whatsoever.
Not at all.
I didn't realize they were brothers
whatsoever.
It's almost like, oh, you both are bald? Why don't you just two be brothers?
Yeah.
You know? Very, very bald racist of them to just assume that.
You guys kind of look alike. You're both juice the fuck. These guys are massive.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty ironic. When I first heard Mean Gene, I had to go to Google because I was like, is that the guy that does the Let's Get Ready to Rumble? Because it sounds just like him. And then later on, actually, the
actual guy pops up.
His name I forget.
Michael Buffer.
Yeah, he actually shows up.
Yeah.
But then I realized, no, Mean Gene doesn't sound like Michael Buffer. Mean Gene sounds like the guy at an auction. He's like, I've got wrestling merch for 75, anyone going, 85 sold. Like, he sounds just like that.
Just trying to keep you engaged. Yeah, old Mean Gene, done it all.
Definitely looks like the auctioneer that was in my town when I was there. Sure. Looks like old Butch Borman.
He kind of like his hair and his kind of bald pattern. He kind of looks like if the Monopoly man took his top hat off, and now he's actually really selling merchandise.
He went bankrupt. He went straight to jail.
Yeah, he did not have the free parking for
no,
sure.
Sir.
It was interesting. So yeah, it was Big Vito versus Reno. This is a lot of interesting things happened for me with this match. Two main things. One, I started realizing, wow, there's a lot of racist themes in wrestling.
Well, see, the thing is with the Italian stuff, and I had to be like, why was this such a big thing? And then I looked up, and you know what I did? I was like, when did The Sopranos first air? And it was in '99. I'm like, oh, this all makes sense.
This is
why we're pushing this out here.
Well, being from the North, the temptation was very strong for me to be like, Big Vito, why not Big Guido?
Right? There was
already a Guido. There was Little Guido.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they come out and the same music. They're wearing velour suits, which I don't know if they wear in their free time, but for the act, I guess they wear. And then they're playing the same Italian music that you could hear in like Papa John's in the lobby. Mm-hmm. And I know that it matches their heritage, but I was like, this is starting to get a little racist, a little judgmental. I guess it fits, but
now like at the time, depending on if WWE owns the rights to their entrance music, that could have been piped in later for the network. So that means
that's an issue that definitely comes up, and we'll bring that up when we get there, because there are a couple of times when we have different music, and I noticed it for sure. I didn't necessarily notice it in this match, but in a couple matches later, I'm going to make a big stink about it. Really
mainly because I don't know what their fucking song was originally.
I want to say it was like very similar to the Beastie Boys riff, like dun dun dun. I want to say that was the thing, but that might have been like the WWE's version of the Full-Blooded Italians also.
But if you think that music was a slight bit racist, they could have added that shit last year. So modern day racism shining its head upon the Big Vito and Reno.
Yeah, and they're both white, so it's not really racism.
Yeah,
so.
no,
it was just kind of weird.
They're privileged as fuck anyway.
Yeah. Well, racist is just kind of his like physical. Character. I didn't know if he was like a wrestler or if like he's the valet parking guy.
It's the hat that threw you off. Yeah, okay.
It's a cabbie hat.
Okay. Cabbie hat. Which Big Vito, like the thing about like all this. Speaking of people that doing a ton of stuff. I remember being on a show with Big Vito and him chastising me and Caleb Connolly for doing too much in the opening match when the promoter specifically told us, do a lot of stuff. I want you to do as many high spots as you possibly can, do dives, do all of it. That's what I want you to do. So he's the promoter. I'll listen to him. I'll go ahead and do it. We go to the back, and Vito just tears us a new one for a half an hour.
Jeez.
Now, I can only imagine what words he would say to Shane Helms and Chavo Guerrero when me and Caleb Connolly didn't even do a fourth of what they did. So, I always find that funny as well.
Yeah.
This definitely one I talk about, the people doing a lot of stuff. But the thing is, all the younger guys doing a lot of stuff on this pay-per-view probably save it from being a complete and utter abortion. Yeah. So them doing a lot of stuff is more than welcome in this instance.
And Italians do get abortions too. Yeah. So that's a common. I mean, in New York, you turn the wrong alley, you get one for free. So.
But go to a coat hanger store. Next thing you know, no more baby.
The one thing that's so this is the first time that I was watching wrestling as an adult or quasi adult, and so I looked at it differently. And this match in specific, I'm hoping you can kind of chime in to see this straight. It led me to believe they actually orchestrate some of the matches like similar themes they do in movies. It's a really big, I noticed they're brothers, right? So it's I've seen this before, in movies where it's there's a rivalry between the two brothers in the family or something. So every match was kind of its own entity, but this time when I was looking at it, it seems like they kind of borrow those type of narratives to make it a little bit more full-bodied. Is that true? Do they do
the plan thing? This is a little bit of stakes, and then really the formula of every match is pretty similar. But if you interject some sort of a story, this guy is in injury or this guy really hates each other, so obviously it's a grudge match, so that's why there's a little bit more tension to what they're doing. But if there's no tension to what they're doing, there's no reason to get behind it. There's no way to get behind the danger. So that's kind of the way professional wrestling works. If you put it's just putting more stakes to everything.
Well, and that was cool because in around the same time in WWE, it was very much kind of you just care about the main event, and then everything else leading up to it's just kind of okay, this guy versus this girl or this girl or whatever. There was no this feels more full body, that there's a story or tension behind this is only the second match, and it still kind of has my interest because it's not just two people wanted to fight.
Yeah.
So it seemed kind of cool. I never looked at it like that before.
Oh. Anything more to say about it? It's not a bad match.
No, was it those boys can fucking jump their asses off.
Yeah.
For being big ass sons of bitches.
Vito, for everything that he said, bad to me that day, he's a heck of a great wrestler.
Yeah, no, he was great.
Can't argue with that. Long and worked very hard to get where he was at, and
When I saw him come out, I was like, oh, this is just two fucking Guido juice heads that are just gonna have some boring big man match. They had a real good match.
Went for it,
Did it, nailed it. Loved it.
Doing okay.
And he actually didn't have spray tan, which was the first. He was
smearing it all over the mats.
Moving right along to match number 3. The Young Dragons with Leia Meow versus Jamie Noble and Evan Courageous.
So my only, and it's not even wrestling related, my biggest memory of Evan Courageous is I used to work at an Outback in Gastonia, North Carolina.
Ouch.
And he came and ate there all the fucking time. And it would be
WCW or during WCW?
This would be post, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He was there all the time, and the first couple times he'd come in, they would be oh crap, this guy used to be a wrestler, and everybody knew I liked wrestling, and I was wrestling at the time, actually. I'd been 23, 24. And, oh man, this guy's here. I fucking know he comes here every week. This is not a surprise anymore.
He's only coming here to ruin my work experience.
Yeah. This cocksucker has the shittiest salad requests ever.
I had a bias in this match.
Because you're Japanese?
Well, from the waist down. I'll just see myself out. No, but I have a bias because he has my name, so I automatically think he's cool.
Yeah.
I was well, he's got the same name. I should probably root for him.
Yeah. In a parallel universe, me and Evan Courageous would be
the same guy.
They lost. But you know, I
also the same guy.
Continuing with the racist observations, I'm really good at that. I don't know if that means anything or not, but yeah. Like,
I mean, you are a social justice warrior, so
that's true. I noticed that it said either Young or Jung Dragons with Leah Meow, and I don't think her name is actually Meow.
You don't think that's Christian?
And it's Leia Meow, okay, as in lay down.
Like Princess Leia, yeah. I think they're alluding to like the cat dog Chinese food joke. Really close, but not quite for throwing it in your face.
Well, I think it was more of like laying you down as we're going, because originally she is Kimona Wanalea from ECW fame.
Okay.
So
her fame there.
Yes, I do. That's the answer to that question.
Yes,
I do.
They're going for that, but Young as in Young Dragons because of, I believe, Jimmy Yang.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Young.
Because there's Young as a common Japanese last name.
Well, and also, too, Jimmy Yang is like 17, 18 at this time. He is
a wee fella.
Super young.
Long before he had a mustache and was doing a cowboy gimmick.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Evan Courageous was a part of 3 Count, and Jamie Noble was a part of the Young Dragons. Yes, that was a thing. He was a mask guy, and he was wrestling with a Japanese faction. And but he wore a mask. So he was basically taking away a job from a Japanese person, or something
like we do.
So
they're taking our gerbs.
Yeah, and basically it was revealed that he was Jamie Noble from West Virginia. WCW did something miraculous and pulled off a guy from West Virginia as if he was Japanese or Asian of some sort.
Apparently, his lucky numbers were truly lucky. He got the gig.
He did. Yeah.
I did. I also had also noticed this is the first woman wrestler in this show that I like in sequences. I think it's the first one that you see.
Use the word wrestler a little bit loosely. In
this particular,
true.
Probably all these girls on this show, but
really hosts, I guess, in this case almost. But I noticed that there's clearly seems to be different qualifications for not physical qualifications for male or female, but like every female wrestler that I've seen in this show is like gorgeous. Like they're in shape. They're extremely sexy. Can't say that about every male wrestler in this show. There's a few people.
There's
2016.
Do what you want.
I'm saying there's a few people in the show that are like not really hitting the gym as much as they should, but they're bigger than you and I. So it's like, do you want to wrestle? But like, it's almost like every woman has to be sexy, or you're not allowed.
Well, this was the time when they started taking all the Nitro girls and making them valets. And this is also the time that they're like, oh, well, you probably should wrestle also too. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to like looking at the probably small handful of female wrestlers that are out there that are very dedicated and actually working on their craft. They're just taking beautiful girls and then just forcing them into this pro wrestling wall now.
They seems to be like, hey, check this out, and oh yeah, there are people wrestling here at the same time. By the way, you want to watch that.
Well, I mean, they could either buy these girls' tits, like these female wrestlers. They could either buy these already good wrestlers' tits, or they could just train these girls with tits how to wrestle, ish. A little cheaper on that end. They've already got the big tits. Let's go ahead and just train them.
Yeah. Or just treat them like
Or
just put like good female wrestlers out there and just let them go.
No, brother, this is Atlanta, all right, in 2000.
Yeah,
calm the fuck down.
Yeah, this is a company.
Get your feminist ass out. There's the door, Jake Manning.
And we've definitely come a long way. I was impressed. There's just a lot of like flips and flying and like these young dragons or Jung or Bung Drag or whatever the hell they're like. They're doing some pretty impressive shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so glad they won, because I've seen like matches before where I'm just like, this guy's getting a fucking workout, and then they lose, and it's like, what? It's very deterring to the audience, I guess. It's like, if he lost, like, I'm just not going to the gym anymore.
Then I should just give up now.
Like, never mind.
If doing all that, like, just doesn't get you the W, like, forget it.
Because in the promo or the intro, they mentioned like a previous match with like Rey Mysterio. And that brought back some memories. I remember that guy was doing similar stuff where he's just flipping all over the place.
Yeah.
He's pretty much like Robin from Batman with all these acrobatics. And I was just stunned. I was like, I can't believe a person could even do this. Like, it was pretty crazy.
Yes, Chris O'Donnell was quite acrobatic.
He was.
He was not acrobatic.
There you go. That's why I was having trouble with the word. I was trying to combine them as two, but
Acrobatic?
Acrobatic?
Actorbatic.
Yes, exactly. Boom! Anyways.
Idea guy, Jake, man.
Yeah, you got me. Good. I'd say good overall match. We're doing quite well. And it's this point right here, I'm like, why are we watching this thing?
This was close to the point where I texted you. I'm like, why are we doing this one?
Yeah, because like for the most part, like everybody talks about how bad this pay-per-view is, but these first 3 matches, they're all good.
Yeah,
they're all good. They're all great. I'm happy with my money so far. And then all of a sudden, ZZ Buff comes out of nowhere, and we have to deal with Buff Bagwell and a downward spiraling Lex Luger.
He's been on that spiral for a minute. He's just been circling the drain.
But I don't know why they show like what car Buff Bagwell is.
I don't know what that relevance that had.
I don't get it. Like, I mean, if it was like obviously Buff Bagwell knows how to airbrush things. Like, it'd be cool if it was like airbrush Buff, but it's like
no.
But it's like, no, look at this like gay car that I'm pulling up. Not that there's anything wrong with gay, but
2001, drive and fuck whatever you want.
In the 2001 terms of gay, like, dude, that looks fucking stupid.
It's
like drive whatever you want, just not a plane into the tower.
And we're back to 9/11.
Call back.
There we go. It's a callback.
You saved me for being homophobic, Evan Pittfield. Thank you very much.
I don't know if it's a complete save.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Yeah.
But no, I just like it's a fucking douchey fucking car. Like, who gives a fuck that you drove it?
Yeah, like there was never really any. There was no reason to it. Like did they just want to make the ZZ Top joke? Could they not have at least been playing like LaGrange or something when he got out?
This is like the purple kind of.
Yeah.
It
just looks like a Matchbox car.
It's just fucking random and fucking weird, which we will see more of from Buff Bagwell in a few matches.
Minus them just getting out of that car and talking to one another, not being random and weird.
That kind of looked like if Barney the dinosaur was a car.
It's a transforming dinosaur.
Yeah, transgender. I mean,
yeah.
And, well, I mean,
Wait.
Yeah.
Match number 4.
Yeah.
Mike Sanders versus the Cat with Mrs. Jones. This is what I was talking about with entrance music.
Yeah.
The fucking Cat's entrance song that the WWE Network has put on there is fucking horrendous. Like, it sounds like a song from a copyright-free CD, free copyright CD, something you didn't even pay for.
No, you got this on YouTube, didn't you?
Or a 4-year-old gets his first song made on GarageBand. Like, that's what it sounds like.
Like if Memorex made music. That's what this would probably sound like, right?
Like, just fucking awful. And, like... but like the other, because the original was like James Brown sounding, and it was real cool and funky, and probably the thing that got Ernest the Cat Miller as over as he was, because he's super over in this match. But everybody reviews this match. When I look back at like reviews for this match, everybody gives it an F. Talk about how awful it is. It has its spots. Don't get me wrong, but fucking Ernest the Cat Miller is over like $1 million.
Yeah,
I did some research. I actually found out where that opening track came from. They used to give out like the free AOL discs at Target, and it came with some demo tracks. And I think he scooped up one for the taking. So
got that for free play in a box of honeycombs.
That's right. Someone's missing out on royalties.
AOL making that money nowadays because they're in Cat Miller.
Yeah, you've got tunes, I guess, is what you got. One thing I noticed about this match, it's apparent through every match, but it was especially with this guy, is like a lot of people make like random face spasms in wrestling.
Well, it's all about faces because you're playing to the top of the...
But sometimes I feel like it doesn't fit. Like in this match, the like Mrs. Jones, I think, like hit someone, and then he has this like it was one of those punches that were not really well choreographed, because it's like, dude, you're like 2 feet away from his face, and he kind of makes his facial expression, and it's like did you just get hit or did you just shit your pants?
Oh, you mean when Miss Jones hits Mike Sanders? Yeah. Like, that made no sense to me. And it was right in front of the referee. Like, that's a disqualification.
Yeah.
But, like, also Miss Jones, like, did a real shitty job of kicking him, too. So, like,
come on, Miss Jones, lay it in there.
So I think Mickey J was like, no, that's a shitty kick. I'm not going to disqualify you for that.
Don't you sell that, Mike Sanders.
Which, also, too, Miss Jones is also awful at dancing, as we see at the end of this match. She is horrendous.
Maybe she's related to Mr. Jones. You know, that shitty Counting Crows.
Whoa, hold on, don't. Did you say the Counting Crow song was shit? Get out. Get out, this is over.
I'll just see myself.
This is over.
This is over.
You guys valet, I'm leaving.
But yeah, like Mike Sanders, the knock on him, he was always really bad in the ring, but he was a talker.
Yeah.
And I always remember a lot of articles like, if he could just like learn how to talk. I mean, learn how to wrestle. He's such a good talker. He'd make $1 million, or like, or maybe he'd be better at like commentary or whatever. Like they tried really hard to utilize him being a good talker, but watching some of these promos, I don't see him as a good talker, especially compared to like all of the fucking like natural born thrillers. Yeah, maybe a good talker compared to Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Hare.
Yeah,
but like very stereotypical wrestling heel stuff, like not blowing me, like he's not the second coming of Piper, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just the only one of that group that can talk in coherent sentences.
I think also, like, I tried to imagine, I think to get a better voice, I tried to imagine Mike Sanders as Bernie Sanders. I think that might be a better Sanders.
Now, yeah, he is very Bernie Sanders-esque and stuff like that. He knows the cues to hit and stuff like that.
He could be like, come hell or high water.
Yeah.
I'm going to kick your ass. Like, I think that might do more for his character.
Yeah. I never watched WCW. I didn't watch WCW at this time. Like, I grew up with WCW, but I didn't watch it at this time. But at WrestleCade, like last year, the year before, 2 years ago, I went to a hotel party that Kevin Nash was throwing, and like I'm just kind of hanging out on the outskirts because I don't really know anybody there, and except for Shane Helms, who was the one that got me invited there. So we're just kind of hanging out or whatever, and there's this dude hanging out beside me, and I just kind of looked over at him like, hey man, how you doing? Pretty good, man. How are you? Oh, you know, I'm good. My name's Zane. Mike Sanders. Cool. Mike Sanders. Yeah, cool. I heard you, man. Nice to meet you, Mike. I was WCW commissioner, and yeah, towards the end there. Oh, cool. How'd that work out? Where are you going? Bye, Mike.
You're like, I know Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? I don't care.
For the audio listening audience, I am face palming right now so hard.
Two fists.
I've actually pushed my entire head inside of my hand right now. If you're unaware of what's going on right now, it's an audio podcast because I am so embarrassed of Mike Sanders.
Yeah, like
and because I did really like him for a long period of time, but yes, I have had similar interactions with him that go down just like that, but I was actually like, oh, Mike Sanders! But then he kept pulling on that. I'm like, I've already put you over, man. You don't have to keep putting yourself over. Also, Mike Sanders was doing comedy in Atlanta for a short period of time.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
I don't know if he was or how that worked out for him, but considering I haven't really seen much
He's
from
the
him.
commissioner of Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Sanders.
Yes.
He was wearing a golden thong, is the best way I can describe his outfit. Which, the last time, I guess I had a homosexual wrestling based feeling with gold was Gold Dust, and
that was their plan.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was their plan with Gold Dust.
Yeah, who wanted to get you little 6 to midnight there?
Well, I thought about it like if he was wearing a gold thong and he shit his pants, would it be bronze instead of brown? Like you've got the glitter there already.
This fucking guy.
I
just love it.
I told you it works hard.
He does.
He writes jokes.
He does.
Yeah. Not all of them good, but he writes jokes, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't matter. As long as you write them, fuck it.
Listen, he's auditioning for like a late night show. He hears he's got to write 60 jokes, and they're only going to take 10 of them. It's all about volume. They're going to take the best ones.
And that would have gone on number 1 for me. I like that.
CC's Pizza made a late night show.
Open mic at CC's? That'd be great. Can we do that?
Speaking of, I'm just going to keep bringing up the racist stuff.
Please, that's what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
It's better.
Racism.
It's cool that no one's... If you could spell my name wrong, that'd be great.
Don't worry.
The cat is black, and Or Miss Jones. Yeah,
he is.
Well, so she screams, "Somebody call my mama," and it's I don't know. It's in a very ghetto tone.
Well, that was his
like
catchphrase.
It's like a catchphrase, but like I feel like if you're professional wrestling, like you shouldn't need any assistance from your parents.
Yeah. You don't think his mama needs to come down there and hand out some ass whoopings?
They need your help now, right? Because you're like Batman, and they're
I think not to.
Go ahead.
Talk about the logistics of Call My Mama.
Jake, are you saying you're a Call My Mama expert?
I would say that I'm aficionado, yes. I believe it is a reference when you say Call My Mama, it is to bring up Call My Mama because I'm going to beat this guy up so bad that I'm going to jail and I want my mom to come get me out of jail and bail me out. I believe is the inference of somebody call my mama. Now, I'm not Urban Dictionary, but I believe that's roughly how it is defined.
So you're saying that he is adult enough to not need his mama to come help whoop somebody's ass, but not financially stable enough to bail himself out of jail?
Maybe.
It takes a lot of money to keep Miss Jones's there.
Well, he had to pay a lot of money for Chronic to come down and save the day because he had to outbid Mike Sanders for the run-in.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fucking money.
So obviously, call my mama because I have no more money to bail myself out of jail now.
No, I totally misinterpreted that because I'm just thinking of how big safety is in the name of wrestling, and I'm thinking like. Okay, well, if he drinks too much to drive while in the ring, someone should probably call his mom. But otherwise,
this is before Uber. Yes,
this isn't. Lyft and they're not there.
They're not there. No pink mustaches.
This is the cab days. So I didn't understand that.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Goldberg with Ric Flair rewatching that wonderful promo earlier.
In case it wasn't good enough the first time.
It wasn't good enough the first time, but there's an inference of what Plan B is going to be, and Rick's trying to show this to Goldberg, but Goldberg won't shut up. Yeah. And the key point, what's Plan B about? And as Rick, he's telling you right now, and this is why I'm showing you. It's like that guy that's telling you about this part in a movie. And you finally get to that part in the movie.
Oh, here it is. Look.
Yeah, look. And then the guy goes, what are you talking about? And the guy's like, no, you're talking in the middle of the best part. That's basically what's going on in the back of WCW right now.
It's also hard to believe because, I'm pretty sure Goldberg actually knows what Plan B is. Right? I think he's just...
I'm sure he's fucked enough women the night before to know how to get a Plan B.
Now, is it racist to just automatically assume that Goldberg is Jewish?
No, you're actually correct.
He is. Okay.
Yeah.
Just the most jacked Jew you've ever met.
That's calling a spade a spade. What? Did I say that wrong? Whoa! Yeah!
Jet fuel engine can't burn steel beams. I gotta
go! You said this is the last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky number 16. We can't beat Flair, brother.
Going for broke.
We didn't have censorship till just now.
Just now.
And this shit's cutting us down.
How was this allowed to get booked? Yeah.
The next episode will be about our show.
Yes, is us being canceled and stuff like that. But you also see an awkward Make-A-Wish interaction with Goldberg.
Yeah, with the kids. Yeah, it's
a little too old. I don't know, but this fan, whatever, that will come up a little bit later, of course.
I was kind of upset though because I've seen some of my favorite bands and comedians, and I'm typically that idiot that's hanging out by the bus because I really want to meet my idols, and I didn't think that was scripted at all, and I'm like, oh cool, they hacked their way to the back room.
And they're filming it on this pay-per-view that people are paying close to $40 for.
Well, we can't. Cool. We can't stop now. The fucking guys are here. We can't stop. There's too much money at stake.
But it was.
Sign it.
It was the original though, right? Because they didn't. Yeah, there was no camera phone, so they actually just had to stand there and talk to each other. Do you think he's gonna come over here? They couldn't just upload the guy's life to YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it turns out that they were kind of scripted later on. You said so.
But moving right along, Jeff Jarrett is talking with Mean Gene again. I believe he calls him a geriatric slapnut.
Slapnut, yeah. And a little callback at the beginning when they were going through the deadly sins. It said sloth, and then it showed Jeff Jarrett, and I was like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, he's the one.
No. I think, as we'll find out in the main event, I think Sloth refers to Sid. For multiple reasons.
Yeah.
But
is that an Ice Age reference?
Yeah, it is definitely an Ice Age reference. We're about the kids here at How Did This Get Booked?
Exactly.
I think this match covered up a lot of... again, I didn't understand what the posters that said slap nuts people were holding up, but this is officially right.
This explained everything. You were like, was this a term in the early 2000s that was really cool that I was unaware of?
He was right next to
questioning your life at that time.
Well, the whole episode I was questioning my life, but no, he was right next to the I'm drunk poster, so it was just I'm drunk, slap nuts, and I was like, I don't particularly partake in that activity.
I'm drunk, hit me in the dick.
Is this a wrestling match or a college party? What's going on?
Yeah, Slapnuts really didn't get over like Austin 316. So
no. Not that he has given up on it.
No!
He still does it.
Still does it. Still trying to get it over.
Still, it's like, never give up. Never surrender.
Exactly.
Goonies never say die.
Match number 5, penalty box match. Special guest referee, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Evan Pittfield, what do you know of Hacksaw Jim Duggan whatsoever?
Absolutely nothing. I know that Hacksaw didn't match what he physically looked like.
Okay, so it's nice to know that you saw Hacksaw in this condition. You did not see his prime.
So am I the only person who thought that Jim Duggan Hacksaw looked like Russell Crowe?
Yes. No one in the world would ever confuse the two.
Okay.
One is a very polite American that drinks a lot from time to time, and the other one is a very rude Australian who drinks a lot from time to time.
but not just Russell Crowe, but sometimes he looks like the guy. Sometimes you go out to a restaurant and the person takes your order, but it's a different person who delivers your food. And it's just kind of like a belligerent cook. Like, is this your fucking food? And that's what he looks like. He's like,
Hacksaw does look like a belligerent cook, though.
It's like, what happened to our good waitress? Where'd you come from?
We had a really nice referee earlier, and this asshole comes out for this match.
He's just, I'm just running an expo right now.
They needed food runners in the back.
Or he's the manager there that doesn't care. Is like, is everything good? And good, I'm glad.
Table touch.
Yeah, he's not glad. Yeah.
But this takes it's Team Canada, which consists of Lance Storm, Eli Skipper, Mike Awesome versus the Filthy Animals, Conan, Rey Mysterio, and Billy Kidman. Now this is the match that I was telling you about, Zane. You being a booker, I was watching this match and I go, oh my gosh, we're going to see a penalty box match sometime in the future.
I was so a couple
because we haven't seen it since.
We haven't, and give us time. And you know who we're going to have for special guest referee? Who? Hacksaw Jim Duggan, goddammit. Because he's the only one that can do it.
Yeah, he's the only one that can enforce this.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I was super excited to see Mike Awesome, because a couple weeks ago we were playing 20 Questions for a Wrestler with me and John Schuyler and a couple guys. And he was my guy. I was 20 questions for him. And after we were done, somebody didn't know he was dead.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like... Trust me, man. If he was still alive, I would build this whole company around Mike Awesome.
What?
Me and Mike Awesome and some fat chicks would be running shit right now.
Well, yes, that's the thing. Evan, you got to see actually one of the better incarnations of Mike Awesome.
He seemed, I wanted to bring this up. He seemed, of course, to be at least pawned as the bad. He's on the Team Canada. Right?
Yes.
He seemed to be pawned as the bad guy in this match. And the thing is, one thing I found interesting. As a comedian who has to figure out how to entertain people, I'm always trying to figure out what to say. And some of the things that he's saying are just cheesy as shit, but the entire stadium is reacting to this guy, right? He's standing there on the mic and he's like,
well, that's Lance Storm.
That's Lance Storm. Mike Awesome was the big guy with the long black hair.
Yeah, he was the tall.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Lance Storm is saying you wanted my attention and now you have it. And then the entire audience is like, oh, shit, they have his attention. And I'm just like, I thought that's the point.
Lance Storm don't give no attention to nobody.
But he's, shaking and he's really tense. So I guess he's reaping everyone's attention. But and he's like, come hell or high water, this ends tonight. And I'm just like, well, yeah, I mean, it's happening. It's happening tonight. So it probably will also end tonight.
It can't still be going.
Yeah.
I don't believe.
You've got to end it.
It's by a technicality.
Exactly.
But it was, I noticed, again, going back to themes, Okay. I noticed this was kind of the classic, like, U.S. versus Canada thing.
Except there was only one person from the U.S. in this match.
True.
And then when they start trying to get the USA chant while the Animals were down, like Conan's taking heat and Duggan's trying to get a USA chant going.
It's not necessarily true. Because Conan was born in the States. And Rey was also born in the States.
Oh.
They are Mexican Americans. They're not Mexicans in America. Conan has made that very clear and discussed that's why Sin Cara didn't get over quite as well in WWE. There's a big difference. So
then USA all the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely USA all the way.
Yeah.
Speaking of posters, again, I saw I guess someone in the audience was very much for Team Canada. I saw them holding up the Molson Light beer logo. I guess they were like last minute, like, quick, what the fuck's from Canada? Because I like that guy. They drew a picture of the Molson Light.
I did like the one guy that had the Canadian flag but was also wearing a Detroit Flyers jersey. Like the two are one and the same. Like, they fucking match. Who cares?
Well, like I just heard somebody last night at a bar say, like, oh, I'm from Detroit, so I like everything from Canada. Like, huh? Is that how that works?
It is.
I literally heard that from somebody.
Yeah.
You don't understand. I have to cheer for the Blue Jays because I'm in Detroit. I'm like, no, you have to cheer for the Tigers.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
Well, that's what I feel like.
That reconfirms that Canada must not be a great place because that means that their biggest fans don't even live there anymore.
Yeah. Their biggest fans live in the shittiest city in the world besides any place in New Jersey.
I'd like to talk to one. Like, yeah, I really love Canada, so I left.
Yeah, so I went to Detroit to prove it.
Yeah, to prove how much I love Canada.
Yeah. It was the better option.
But, yeah, like, here's the thing about Mike Awesome. He was the fat chick for Thriller.
Oh, yeah, he
was that 70s guy.
Okay.
And he claims a lot of his prior bad gimmicks were because he was Horace Hogan's cousin, and because of the whole, incident at Bash at the Beach with Hulk Hogan and Vince Russo, he feels like he was being punished and put all these awful gimmicks, and now he's finally in a character in Team Canada where he can flourish. Mm-hmm. And I've always been a big, super supporter of Mike Awesome, but I've always heard for a very long time, he goes, how little he can work. He's always been very physically impressive, but I've heard a lot of people talk about how bad he was in the ring. I definitely can see it in this match. I think it's because there's multiple people and multiple things going on. It is, but to that extent, I think this match just shows how good Lance Storm is at being the glue. Mm-hmm. He does a fantastic job of pulling just everything together at all moments in time during this entire contest. Like, this could have gone off the rails. Like, this could have been the exact moment where the pay-per-view went off the rails. Yeah. But because of Lance Storm's ability to hold things together, he kept this runaway train on the tracks somehow. Oh, yeah. Ely Skipper tried really hard to derail it a couple of times.
Yeah, he did.
But I'll tell you what, Lance Storm...
like, no!
Lance brought it back together.
Shut the fuck down, Eli.
In this match, I kind of felt like, Lance Storm was Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber, and Mike Awesome was just kind of like Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, we all know who we're here to watch.
Yeah, it was a tag team, but...
But there was one in control.
But there was something that everybody wanted to see, which obviously was Major Guns getting hosed down for no reason whatsoever.
With what they called water... But that shit was baby oil.
Oh, that was some sort of
I've never seen shiny ass water before.
Oh yeah.
This is I'm trying to make sure this was the match where they brought out the penalty boxes, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I made another racist observation.
Good.
So the black eye was the first one in the box. So it's pretty fucked up. First. Yeah, they say Mace Windu dies first in Star Wars.
And Mr. USA Hacksaw Jim Duggan was the one that put him there.
Yep. America.
It's
America.
Just, yeah. I want to make clear I'm defending the fact that this was kind of messed up, but I don't even know what he did. I just saw them ask him to go to the box.
Just get in the box.
They're like, don't come out. Don't
What's
have
in the
kids.
Box? Team Canada.
Ely Skipper. Which, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, the whole reason he's in Team Canada is because he played Canadian football. He's actually American, but I think that was the whole reason that he was on Team Canada. Like, I used to play for a Canadian football team. So you're in Team Canada now.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
But, being in the box, that's one of those things that would be totally different now versus then. Where like then 2001, they put him in the box and he just had to actually stand there and wait. Like if it were 2016, you'd be put in the box and you're like, let me check my Facebook, see if anybody commented on it. Like you have things to do, you know.
Yeah.
And if I recall, the box had like it was sealed. So you could actually see his breath like on the plastic. I'm like, this can't be safe.
Like it was supposed to be like a real like penalty box. Yeah. It was open at top.
Oh, okay. I was like,
it's like a real hockey penalty box.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. And there were some things that happened that I thought people should have went to the box, but they didn't.
Well, like I said, this really could have went off the rails a couple of times.
Insanely so.
And even Billy Kidman, too. Like, I always heard the knock on Kidman not being that good, but I remember growing up and liking Kidman.
He was my favorite.
But seeing him wrestle, like, Lance and being just, like, kind of off and not really there, but, like, Lance making it look fantastic, I was like, oh, I clearly see what everybody has been talking about all of these people in this match, and I see how great Lance Storm is at just holding it all together. And like I said, like, I don't know why we didn't see more penalty box matches, to be quite honest.
Well, give it time, Jake Manning. Give it time.
Give it time.
Like, I don't see how they did so well in the fact that he was, like, everything was a penalty box time. Like, everything they did, get in the box.
Yeah.
I don't see how that didn't fuck up people's timings in certain aspects of the match when he's just handing them out so flagrantly. Like, it would blow my mind how much I feel today people would have to talk about these exact spots and down to a T. And, like, how they were given, like, 2 minutes for some stuff, but was it really, like, how worked was that time in there?
Yeah, like, it was very loose, and like I said, it really kind of lent itself to disaster, because the thing is, too, they could be getting to a point, and they may not be letting him out, or letting him out too early. Like, there was a lot of things that could have went wrong with this match, but somehow didn't.
When you put Lance Storm and Hacksaw Jim Duggan together, only magic occurs.
That brain trust right there alone.
That conglomerate of intelligence.
The one thing that I realize is, like, a lot of people accuse wrestling, like, oh, is it real? Is it staged? And I found out that being a person that's only getting lazier, that helped me identify that some of this has to be staged. Because, some people are like, oh, is that a real kick? Is that a real punch? But I'm sitting here watching this match, and I'm like, okay, if those are actually steel cages, and someone actually had to carry those out, someone's going to go in the box. Some guy didn't lift those to then have nobody go in the box, because why
just safely assume that?
Why would
oh, man. Twist, everyone plays by the rules. No one ever gets in the box. I just made boxes for no reason.
WCW just spent that money for no reason.
Yep.
Like, I quit. I'm not carrying
PWX just spent all this money for no reason.
I'm not carrying this fucking box out anymore.
They never go in the fucking box.
My arms are tired. Like, it's just like, well, if they're bringing it out, something's got to happen.
Cut to Natural Born Thrillers promo, where they reveal that Palumbo and O'Hare will be representing them. Which I remember when they did this, and it was just really funny because, like, it was always Palumbo and Stasiak and O'Hare and Jindrak. They were the teams. And then for whatever reason, they switched that. Obviously, because they're like, it had to be because, like, we don't know so much of Mark Jindrak. He might be a little too new, a little too green. So I put him out there. But they felt that Palumbo and O'Hare was the best of all the Natural Born Thrillers to represent them as a tag team.
This is your A team for NBA Jam?
Yeah, like, this is your A team here.
When I watched this, I'm glad that Sean O'Hare looked like this, because I Googled it, and Sean O'Hare, like, this haircut he had, it was not what he used to look like. But this match,
or what it looks like now.
Yeah. Well, like, so this match specifically,
I was waiting for it. I was going to do it.
You wanted to do it, but I'll take it.
It was going to be. Oh, you should see it now.
Listen,
he's dead, by the way.
He's by the dick.
Okay,
But don't let that hinder you from shitting on him. I'm not going to stop.
I think I'm going to do more, actually. In this match, he looked like jacked Jeremy Renner to me.
Yeah, I can see that one.
Okay.
Like
a little Hawkeye action.
Like cockeye, almost, Like, if somebody came up to him and said, hey, man, you weren't that good in the Avengers, he's like, what? And then he just turns into Sean O'Hare.
I was amazing in the Avengers.
I'm an underrated character, damn it. Like, but he definitely looked like a pretty jacked guy. Very intimidating. I feel like in this match, I've seen the name Terry Nash before. Has he gone back and forth between...
So much so his name's Kevin.
Kevin
Nash.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin Nash kind of, yeah.
He was in hit movies such as The Punisher, Magic Mike Double XL. I think we've had this exact same conversation
We've had the same
before.
exact, how much
That's right, because the only one she did know was it was the last one. It was the TNA one. Because all she knew was Magic Mike Double XL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if it's Diamond Dallas.
He was Super Shredder in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah. Diamond Dallas just looked like old. Like Diamond Dallas kind of looked like my dad was just a set-in for someone who missed the match and they just needed another wrestler.
Well, he started wrestling in his 40s, wasn't he? Started his career in his 40s.
And this is kind of been a couple of years since that start, so he's close to his 50s.
And now he's doing yoga.
Yeah. Well, hence why they were doing the stretching in the locker room.
Yeah.
We may have saw the genesis of DDP yoga on WCW SIN.
Well, was this before or after the Meng Terry Funk bathroom?
That is the next match. That is exactly what we're going to talk about. Is match number 6, which is Ming versus Terry Funk versus Crowbar with Daphne. I wrote a note down that just says, this match happened. Because just listing off that this happened on this universe, I didn't realize this ever happened. Holy shit. The fact that these three men came together and were in the same match together in the same universe, and it was televised,
on a pay-per-view, nonetheless.
Blows my mind. What were your thoughts, Evan?
Well, so from a complimenting wrestling perspective, this was one of the first fights that I didn't think was staged because it was just so unpredictable. I mean, I know that they were just grabbing kind of random props and hitting each other with it, but it just seemed to never end.
It sure did.
You know, some of those those Tom Cruise movies that have 8 endings, and you're like, oh, there's another one. That was kind of this match. But I did, on a funny note, I did catch a glimpse when they first went into the bathroom. It was actually the women's bathroom, and so. Again, just to show the time difference between 2016, particularly in North Carolina with HB2. If that had aired in North Carolina, that would have been a red flag.
Yeah, they would have all got tickets. Yeah, they would have all got tickets in North Carolina if this happened. That's right.
Especially if a lady with testicles was changing her baby in that very bathroom. Someone would have threw a shitstorm over
exactly. They would have all committed a crime. It would have been televised, and there would have been the proof. Whatever the penalty is for going in the wrong bathroom.
Maybe Pat McCrory was just a really opposing force to WCW, and he saw that. It was like, I'm fucking done.
No wonder why he's always saying that. Hey, we have to take other things in consideration of this bathroom, but we have to take in consideration the flagrant, use of hardcore matches in the middle of our women's restroom.
What if
guys?
you're there, ladies, popping a squat, and Ming and Terry Funk just fighting their way in? You try to tell me that you don't feel violated?
There's some sort of repercussions we have to keep. We have to keep our children safe from Ming and Terry Funk, guys.
He ripped a man's teeth out once.
pretty sure that is not an OSHA regulated bathroom. No, one thing that I thought was pretty funny is as they're kind of navigating through the bathroom, there's a janitor that kind of looks at the ball of fight and there's oh whoops, and just kind of gets out of the way.
Just fucks off.
And I just think it's really funny because at one point, right, they had to have the conversation where they're okay, so when they're in your bathroom and they're breaking all your shit, just pretend to be disrupted and then walk away. And I could just imagine the janitor being I am being disrupted. You're breaking all of my shit.
I gotta clean this too?
Yeah, I just cleaned this bathroom.
I just bought this. Be careful, this floor is slippery. Signed yesterday.
You said
no one slept on the floor.
You said I could leave at 8 tonight. I'm gonna have to clean all this up. Yeah, but Mang and Terry Funk are here, so just fucking.
Crowbar's gonna be there. The fucking crowbar.
Yeah. But the funny thing is obviously a hardcore match for the hardcore title. The WCW hardcore title came around because of WWE's success of the hardcore title. But I find it funny that they put over Ming winning the belt, and then a week after this match happened, he's back working for WWF. WWE, that is, and was a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. They put a belt on the guy that obviously wasn't even locked down on a contract whatsoever, and just
Well, WWE had already bought it.
They'd already bought
WCW.
at this time?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. They had bought it before this pay-per-view, but didn't do anything with it till after. I read that in the Wikipedia.
Oh, okay. That's what they meant by the sale. Okay.
Yes, that had already occurred.
What I had found a little odd too in the bathroom.
Yes, go on.
It was most of my humor is born in the bathroom, and for the people who can't listen, I put air quotes around humor. So like they God they had one of those you don't really see them anymore. They have one of those kind of vending machines on the wall, and this is very tough to see because HD didn't exist, and I had to pause the video a few times, but I made it out. One of the slots was Advil, and then the other slot was a condom, and then the other slot was a diaphragm. So apparently this actually...
It's one size fits all for diaphragms?
Apparently it was a fast forward to 2016 because they're supporting both gender products in the same bathroom as is already.
Man.
And I'm pretty sure that's what I was confused because that's the behind the stage bathroom. That did not
That's there all the time.
Yeah, that didn't appear to be a public access restroom. So I don't know, like in between fights, is Terry Funk like, I really need a fucking Advil and a condom right now?
Terry Funk needed all three in the same match.
Okay. It was very confusing. This, I guess just the last comment, this fight just kind of reminded me of like me and like my mom fighting as a kid. Oh, you always got to get the last word, you know. That's what this fight felt like. He's like, I'm going to hit you with a chair. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm going to hit you with a garbage can. And it just never, and they literally never seemed to end. And it just kept going.
It's very They Live.
I think they just rang the bell and they're like, you're done.
All right, guys. There was the very beginning, as soon as Terry Funk is coming down the aisle, they're putting over the fact that like he's a living legend and all that stuff. Oh my God, just look at it. Terry Funk walking. Isn't it the craziest thing you've ever seen? I'm like, yeah, because motherfucker has no kneecaps.
Pretty soon people will be saying that about myself.
Yep.
But yeah,
it amazes me too that Jake's still walking.
And I love how people are laughing at people getting hit in the head with chairs. This is pre-CTE and concussions and everything like that.
Will Smith hadn't made a movie about it yet.
Yes, tell the truth. You know, what would be the wrestling version of that?
Whoa.
Maybe Ernest the Cat Miller would have been the Will Smith character to that.
Oh man, please.
And maybe that's what he was trying to address with Ric Flair. But Ric Flair wants to talk about caviar.
Yeah,
saying it's on me.
And he don't want none of that caviar. He wants collard greens and neck bones.
Evan, you got anything to say about this since you've been like tallying the racism over there?
Real clean segment. Loved it.
No comment. I think I've reached my max racist.
I'm more like find it funny that Ric Flair's like, it's on me.
Yeah.
Just Rick, and I want to be like, Rick, save your money.
Yeah.
Save your money, Rick.
Don't do it, Rick.
Don't even pay for the college. Save your money.
Yeah, it's not even. Soul food's a lot cheaper than the caviar, but still, save it.
Is this like the part where they're looking at Ric Flair and he's talking about like more of the rumors of the mystery fighter and stuff like that?
And this is also the part where we talk to Sid Vicious, who's wearing a hat 3 sizes too
Okay,
small.
so before we get to that part, talking about the early Cat Miller thing, Ric Flair, they're talking, and Ric Flair's like, all right, well, I'll see you later. And like early Cat Miller walks off, and then Ric Flair goes, take the night off.
Oh yeah.
Too late, motherfucker. I already wrestled.
Yeah, like I've already done my work.
Yeah, take the night off. Compared to what?
In this scene, no matter what I'm watching, like wrestling or anything with live commentary, I can do pretty well with like ignoring it. But this is the first time where I remembered that the commentary was not fluid because they were like really just kind of stating the obvious, and it got really mad because the guy is pressuring Ric Flair.
Well, it's for the radio broadcast.
Well, yeah, like he's pressuring.
It's on NPR. Don't worry about it.
He's pressuring Ric Flair again, like who's this mystery guy, whatever. And then Ric Flair essentially says something along the lines like, look, the guy, just leave him alone. I want to keep this, under the hood, and I don't want to talk about it. I don't want any rumors spreading. And then they're done, and the commentator's like, did he seem defensive to you? And I wonder what listener at home is like, it wasn't really clear to me. But after you said that, now I can kind of see you prying the shit out of him for information probably made him a little defensive. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
So Sid Vicious with his super tiny hat.
Super tiny.
Holy shit! Like
Lid Vicious.
It's not bad enough that he's in a Canadian tuxedo.
Ugh.
But he's got this small hat.
Small hat. And just looks
ridiculous. Yes.
I think he had something going on at this time. I remember him referring to his shoot. I don't get to it later because he talks about the eventual thing that happens in the main event, which we'll get to later. Let's get to match number 7. O'Hare, Palumbo versus DDP, Kevin Nash. The Insiders, which is a joke from Outsiders. So, because the Outsiders were Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. But then Sanders comes out with all of the thrillers. Flair comes out and sends everybody to the back, which...
Was this just a waste of time?
I have a note in my notes. I fucking hate this shit. When it fucking happens. Nothing infuriates me more when it comes to televised pro wrestling, whether it be like on Raw or pay-per-view events, when like somebody brings somebody out the ringside, somebody gets their... It's almost like it was just so Ric Flair could have an entrance on the show.
Yeah.
So
his music could play.
So his music could play, so you could get that reaction, and then tell somebody to go to the back. And it's nothing fucking pisses me off more than that in professional wrestling.
No, I had a note here that's very similar. I was saying this just kind of seemed like this was Ric Flair's, what's his name, Stan Lee cameo for wrestling.
Okay.
It's like, hey, by the way, I'm involved. I gotta go now. Yeah. Pretty much, right?
Yeah, that'd be about right. I had Doug Dillinger with him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
it was interesting to say the least. It's weird because Ric Flair seemed to have, although a short hair, more hair now than
he grew a little bit of hair while he was in the back.
Like also he could still do the Ric Flair woo without having like diaphragm issues, and now you could tell each woo. It's kind of like, do I really have to fucking do this anymore, guys? Could you just record it? You know?
Oh no, he still has to, and he still wants to.
Still woos.
And he doesn't even own it, so like,
he doesn't own it. I did this for free. He bought one of those diaphragms back in the quarter machine in the girls' room.
Call back.
Yeah, a lot of people rate this match as being really awful, but I feel like this is kind of what you expect.
Yeah, like,
and then the thing is,
would it be so bad if it happened like second? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's.
This is what it is, and also too, like, I don't know if it's because, like, I see Kevin Nash now, and like obviously he's got like way more miles on him he is at this point, and even like DDP
15 years of miles.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like it's like, especially as this card gets later with guys that have been wrestling for a while, like people rip apart like the rest of this show. Yeah. Like, you know, talk about how bad it is. But to me, I've seen most of these guys wrestle like just a couple weeks ago. So, and this is like them in their prime. So to me, I'm like, they're killing it right now. Like, that's kind of how I feel.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah, so I like keeping that perspective. So when I read back reviews, like I was like, you guys are being rather hard on 2001 Kevin Nash right now.
I just kind of thought like I agree with you that the flow was kind of disturbed, and so like I guess it's supposed to get better, but this is kind of like if someone hit like the pause button, because like I don't know if it was the camera angles or if it was the actual wrestlers themselves, but out of any match, this was the first match where I was starting to see like fake moves. You know, like I noticed that here and there when they do punches, like they also like stomp the ground. And I started getting uncomfortable.
Like the O'Hares and Palumbos are very much.
Well, when DDP did it, I was like, "Are there fire ants in here?" Like he was. I think at one point he wasn't even throwing punches; he was just stomping the ground.
Stomping, and the other guy was just jerking around.
Yeah, it was just a little like.
Well, if anybody can do that, it's DDP.
It's for sure, and there were a lot of hiccups throughout it. Like there was a point where Palumbo and O'Hare forgot who was legal, and there's
like you do
with the pin.
He just seems kind of like an old-fashioned guy. I was just getting ready to see him do like a stop, drop, and roll fire safety video or something. I was like, what the hell's going on here?
And, of course, like Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell get involved. And, of course, Buff dressed as I can't tell, a racist handyman or a bisexual handyman. So I don't really know.
What is Garth Brooks' alter ego?
Chris Gaines?
He looks like Chris Gaines.
Okay, Chris Gaines is
Jack Chris Gaines. We'll go with that.
Okay.
I thought it was Girth Brooks, but that's that's his first name.
And hits him with a wrench, and then take it and like unveils himself, laughs, and then runs away.
And that's all you
runs away, but slowly walks away. Like doesn't put the disguise back on to sneak away, but clearly saying, "Hey, I robbed the bank. All right, I'm going." Like just very weird.
And they'll never catch me. I'm John Dillinger.
But also too, it's just like, why couldn't you just run and hit him with the? If you're gonna unveil yourself anyways, why dress up? There was no real reason for you.
I think it was to sneak through the crowd, is not to get noticed.
But Lex Luger snuck through the crowd, no problem. And he's wearing a cut-off sweatshirt.
He's the biggest guy there.
Yeah, like, if you're going to notice anybody, it's Downward Spiral or Lex Luger, okay? Like
Lex Luger looked like, for some reason I'm forgetting his name, but I think he looked like Kurt Russell on the cover of Big Trouble in Little China. Like, as a person, that's what he looks like, just with less hair to me.
He's the direct-to-DVD version.
For sure. He's the Lorenzo Lamas
he's
version.
He's the poor man's Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell for the working class.
What I thought was interesting, again, with posters is some people are pretty gutsy in terms of predicting what's going to happen. Like, I think this is the first fight in this episode where there's some bloodshed. I think after the wrench, Kevin Nash is bleeding. And somebody actually had a poster that said Kevin Gash. And of course I was like, is that another guy? And then I'm like, oh, maybe he means the bleeding gash in his eye. Maybe he actually wanted that to happen.
He had a premonition.
That's just a very ballsy poster. You might not use it that night.
Or maybe they were inferring to something else.
That's true.
Call him a pussy.
That's true. I see.
But speaking of blood, that's really out there.
And pussy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I got some homework. Francine didn't make the move to WCW SIN. Match number 8. First blood match. So it's funny that they have blood right before the first blood match between General Erection and Shane Douglas. But this isn't just the regular first blood match. It's like a Lord of the Chain match. As if this is the only object in the history of the world to bust anybody open. When we just saw Buff Bagwell bust over Kevin Nash with a wrench, maybe we should put that wrench on the top. You know what I'm saying?
Hang that chain off that wrench.
Well, not to mention previously, right? It was like Mang and Terry Funk were throwing garbage cans and going through tables. I've stubbed my leg on a table before and it's been bleeding, but apparently you need that specific wrench.
that chain hanging from of all chains, just that one. But I must say though, the promo beforehand, the classic line from Shane Douglas, General Erection, I'd like to direct your attention.
Bravo.
Bravo, sir, in writing. Now I know why you were an accredited writer on the classic movie, Wrestlers vs. Zombies. That line right there was the top of your resume.
He made it.
For sure.
That was the resume.
That was the resume. I loved it.
This is the match that I would say, it happened.
Yeah, see, here's the weird thing. I love...
both of them.
Yeah, I do. I love Shane Douglas. I love Bill DeMott. Always been. Both of them have been super cool to me. I don't know stylistically they match together.
No.
But I think this whole thing was just a setup for Shane Douglas to get the U.S. belt.
Well,
anyways.
and then because every match had a real good intro packet, and then every match would be alluded to early with the promo, and they would come back to it later, and they made every match seem like a big deal. Except for this one.
Yeah.
This match, they made more of a deal that the Young Dragons and Noble and Courageous weren't really on the card than they did about this match that was on the fucking card.
Yeah, for the U.S. title.
Yeah.
And this is essentially Shane Douglas winning his first singles title in WCW since him returning.
Yeah. And it ends 2 months later.
Yeah.
I was kind of having a bit of a conniption because I was looking at John Erection's attire, his uniform, and so in the top left shoulder he has a really bright green arrow, and then in the center he's got a vibrant pink question mark, and then on the right leg it's kind of a bright blue stop sign or something. I'm sitting here thinking his attire kind of looks like if somebody pressed pause in Dance Dance Revolution. And you're about to go people are
stutter stepping.
People are there waiting to see oh, who's gonna win this match, but I'm just watching this at home thinking does his attire glow in the dark?
Oh man, I hope. I'm sure it does.
I'm sure it does.
Can we just turn
These
the lights
strikes
off?
glow in the dark kind of.
But I'm more concerned about the WWE edit of this thing and the song that they picked. It sounds like something that's labeled in GarageBand, Big Band Shuffle number 2. Like, that's what this sounds like. Like, it's so bad. And it's because it's like, originally it was like kind of a riff on war. What is it good for?
Yeah.
You know, like, war, you know, like that was the kind of what that was going for the entrance song.
General, erection!
Yeah, like that would have been acceptable. I would have loved for you to just sing that,
Just me doing that
over his intro, as opposed to copyright free Big Band Shuffle number 8.
When we start doing the How Did This Get Booked live things, we should start humming people's entrance music when it's real bad.
But he was also kind of like a little old too. I think maybe a good introduction would have just been like that commercial for the General Insurance. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe a precursor to that.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, I think that really set the mood.
He got caught with the chain right away, right?
Yeah,
but yet had backup chain.
Backup chain, but at the same time too, I wonder if it was a sense of like, oh, you caught me with this chain, you won't think to search me more because you already found me out. But I don't know if there's that many levels to it. I would like to believe that because I like both of these gentlemen, that they put that much care to the story.
Yeah.
But we're still fighting over a chain that's hanging above head. Like, when there's perfectly good corners on the ring step.
Yeah.
You know, like...
And they haven't acknowledged the fact that there might be ladders anywhere.
Yeah.
And my favorite part and least favorite part of this whole match is when, like, Hugh Morris goes to the top rope and has that moment of, well, maybe my fat ass can just jump up there. I'm really, like, I love that happened.
It's not that high.
I'm super upset he never attempted it.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. Just one time, Woody Harrelson, White Man Can't Jump style, just lunges towards the chain and totally eats all shit.
I'm just thinking, like, you know, these guys spent a lot of time trying to prepare and work out, and they knew ahead of time that the chain was going to be hanging. They're like, I would have just came better prepared. I would have brought like a magnet. You know what I'm saying? That would have just ended the match immediately.
I would have learned really good archery and then just
that's right.
Shut it down.
No sweat, no bloodshed. Okay, I'm out of here. I got the chain. Fuck you.
But this match ends in bloodshed.
Like most First Blood matches do.
Yep. As they should. And I don't mind the finish. It's kind of put together pretty well.
Yeah,
but, you know, like I said,
it is what it is.
It is what it is has happened. But yeah, probably a promo or two or something to hype this thing more. Probably could have changed your perception.
I didn't know this was happening until it fucking happened.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wait, what?
It seemed,
Shane Douglas is here?
It seemed more forced than it was entertainment, at least for me. So, but it was cool.
Scott Steiner promo. Speaking of force,
yeah.
What are your thoughts on seeing Scott Steiner talk, Evan Pittfield?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Like, is he had kind of a little bit of like a slight feminine tone to his voice, but still kept the macho thing going. You know, like he tried. He was hiding it a little bit. He was very macho, but you can kind of see, like, I don't know if he was confused. If he, like,
feminine is something I've never heard used to describe.
You've never
Scott
heard.
Steiner.
I should probably clarify. My volume was on mute at this time.
Okay. Your subtitles had really good feminine tones.
Yeah, this is where the French subtitles kicked in.
I love that the girl with him at one point just kind of cuts him off to go, I know what he's talking about, but you tell him what you're talking about, Scott. And he cuts right back into the promo. Like, bitch, why'd you stop him?
That's right. The freaks know what I'm talking about. Very feminine right there. Now that I said that, I feel the feminism coming out of me. I want to vote for Hillary Clinton by saying that, you know, like saying...
Listen, he started flipping out before the match, right? This is the guy that was trying to...
This is a promo, yes.
Yeah.
This is just an interview. This is what should have happened for the last match we saw, yes.
It was pretty weird because he seemed like... he seemed tamed when being asked the questions, but then when it was his turn to talk, he just flipped out. You know, like he would resume back to like normal face, and they're like, "So what do you want to do?" He's like, "I want to beat the shit out of this."
As normal face can be, wearing chainmail over your head.
Right? From now on, when we have people that are going to when we have our non-wrestling fan comedian and Scott Steiner's on the show, we have to prerequisite that they watch the math promo.
We played it on
at the last show. We played it already.
Yeah,
but we'll tell you about it later.
Yeah, we'll tell you about it later. It's a classic.
Just so going into this, you know what's up with Scott Steiner.
Okay.
You know the crazy individual who we speak.
He seemed like somebody that would be a character in an RPG that I'd play. So,
yes, he definitely would be.
Maybe a night at the round table or something.
16-year-old Jake Manning wanted to RPG Scott Steiner for sure.
Forever. He is the basis of my D&D character.
Level
37
chainmail and all.
Yep.
Chainmail and all.
He's a dungeon master.
So it's the chainmail of the freaks. That's what we call it.
Mm-hmm. Match number 9. Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell taking on Sergeant Dwayne Bruce and Goldberg.
Why is there 10 goddamn matches on this show?
I know, but they all kind of... But the thing is, though, you have to keep in mind, at this moment in time, this is like a co-main event situation.
Yeah.
And, gosh, I had it written down here. Basically, there's like less than it's like 20 minutes left in the show, and we have 2 main events that are going to happen. Normally, a main event elapse for 20 minutes.
And this thing goes 13.
Yes.
I was kind of concerned. I was like, did Jake not send me the second video?
Yeah, like, a whole lot of that.
Because usually the main events like...
Well, maybe that's because the first matches were so good. That's what Ric Flair said, that his match with like Bockwinkel was so good, and they didn't put it on as the main event, and people are still waiting in Toronto for the main event to get on.
Rick, you're not even allowed in Canada anymore. Calm down, old man.
Oh, but Lex Luger, not doing very well right now.
So Lex Luger-ish?
Yeah, his haircut troubles me. That's what I have to say. His haircut really troubles me. Just really worried about him.
It's like he went into the barber shop and he's like, yeah, give me like the 1950s pedophile.
Fuck up my whole world, fam.
Give me something that I'm going to wear in my mugshot in about a year or two.
Yeah,
I went there.
Went there.
Well, I think he had a couple of them, so we don't know which one
this
we're talking about.
This is very in general mugshot we're talking about here.
We're trying to make your haircut look as close to the Doll of You's haircut. Yeah. So we have to kind of trim it. The thing that was just kind of weird to me is that this was like the match of the people with the worst names ever. Like, this is kind of, if like Hanna-Barbera was a pervert, you'd be like, hey, it's Lex Luger versus
kind of the same
Buff
company, because Turner
Bagwell.
owns that as well.
Yep.
So
it's just like, what the...
Evan, Goldberg is back right now. Currently, as we're recording this podcast, he's like now on WWE, and he had this big intro and stuff like that. Oh, wow. And a big part of Goldberg being over was the entrance, and you got to see that entrance. When you saw Goldberg's entrance, where he walks all the way from the back, and the music, and him coming through the smoke, and the fireworks and stuff like that, what were your thoughts on Goldberg's entrance?
Well, my first thought, of course, was like, I hope they have a fire extinguisher. There's fucking fireworks and everything going off. I know that for a fact, this is definitely the part in the show where the crowd participation was at a max. Right, everyone was definitely there to see him. And I got to see, it looked like a lot of people, kind of like a concert, were coming down to the front even though they didn't have tickets to those seats. And I got to see that pretty much everyone there had like Harley Davidson attire there. But when he walked out on stage, I don't know, I kind of felt like he knew he was going to lose. It kind of looked like he still kept the stage persona, and he's still like, yeah, I'm fucking Goldberg. But at the same time, he kind of seemed a little down. Like, I don't know his history, but I know every single promo of him is him, like, eating someone else's head. Right? And then he's just kind of walking down like, here we go, guys. So I was like, this is a little... Like, everybody else in the match seemed a little more pumped, I guess, than he did, Even the guy with fireworks, I was like, he's less happy than he should be.
And even the fan that turned on him.
The
Make-A-Wish kid from the back.
God, I hope you die now.
Yeah, but, like, he maced him. But the thing is, what I loved about it, he got thrown over the rail very smoothly and accidental, and then security was right in there, which I was like, oh, they did this really good, as a plant or whatever. But then all of a sudden, like, Lex Luger just taps him on the shoulder and then let him up, and he goes, yeah! And he high-fives Lex Luger and allows him to stay to the end of the match!
On the inside of the barriers.
Like,
he's now a manager.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's, like, ridiculous. Like, to me, they should have carted him off. It was gone.
Yeah.
If they wanted to make it look some sort of realism, like, what's going... Because that whole sense of, what's going on? It adds a sense of frenzy to the end of the match.
Yeah.
But when he's just up, just like, yeah, I sprayed him in the face with mace, it just kind of kills the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Also, it's like... he didn't just spray him in the face. Like, he fucking drenched him in the face with mace that had no foam, for starters. And I was like,
Wait a minute.
He's like, okay.
Could you tell me about your knowledge of mace and how it looks coming out?
Look, I can neither confirm nor
Okay.
He only caught a glimpse of it for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
After that, he's pretty clueless how it
Yeah,
looks.
I have no clue.
Like,
Just because I have a minimal avoidance distance from a preschool doesn't mean I've been sprayed with
Yeah.
mace, okay? But no, it just seemed like he was sprayed in the face with a super soaker, not so much pepper soaker. Because he did get up and he was just like, "Could we just go to the next scene?" It's kind of
He's a big guy. You don't want to spray someone his size and his veracity with not enough mace.
Well,
Yeah,
I think like someone. I think maybe they were doing their job, and someone whispered to him like, "You only have 2 minutes left." And I think they're just like, "Okay, well, let's just keep going through the scene." And okay, he sprays me, and then he does this.
and then we get in the ring, and I almost die on this Doomsday Blockbuster finish that Lex Luger can barely get me up for. Like, old man Luger's got to use the ropes.
I got you, buddy. I got you. Just need I need a spot. Can you spot me and then hop back up?
Just don't let me down like you let Miss Elizabeth down.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Well, that's it for another edition of How Did This Get Booked.
When he was like younger, was he like named like a better weapon? Was he like Lex AK-45 or AK? I was like,
no, always a Luger.
Always total package.
Yeah, always total
Okay.
package. Narcissist for a while,
As someone who's like a weapon enthusiast, I don't think a Luger is a total package. I don't know what series of warfare that you'd feel prepared in going with one
Wolfenstein.
Luger.
Well,
with Infinite Continues, I could see that.
well, supposedly the whole total package moniker was giving us a joke.
Right.
They were trying to teach him how to do a small package in the locker room, and he couldn't perform the small package, which is a very elementary move. So they nicknamed him the Total Package, because you're like, oh, he's the Total Package. He looks and great. He knows how to wrestle and stuff like that. But the fact that you couldn't execute the small package was
The
kind
fact
of
that you can't wrestle.
it was an inside joke of Lex Luger.
Yeah.
So that's been very hard on him this podcast. We can move away from him, and now to the real main
Look,
event.
don't worry. He's not fucking listening.
Well, and also too, he's done enough grief to people,
Yeah.
and like treated people like crap. I feel perfectly.
You'll be okay.
And also too, my rule in wrestling is always I'm allowed to talk shit about you if you've made more money than me, and he most certainly has done that.
Has.
So have a lot of people in professional wrestling.
So I'm just
hence
shitting
why
on
this
everybody.
podcast exists. So
And besides, like, another rule of thumb, he couldn't kick my ass. Not in that wheelchair.
no.
So if he wants to fight about it, tell him to roll up.
Literally.
I love you, Lex. We love you, Lex.
Yeah.
And Evan pandering to Lex.
Because he might run into him soon.
Yeah, who knows?
At the McDonald's. I think
He works
he's
there.
the first wrestler I had written down. He's the first wrestler that people sent a get well card to, and meant it sincerely.
Well, speaking of get well cards, match number 10.
Oh, God.
Jeff Jarrett
just came.
taking on Sid Vicious, taking on Mystery Partner, taking on Scott Steiner. This is where I should make note. From this whole main event of the show, plus entrances, goes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, even with the incident that happens, I don't know how much more was left to do in the match.
God, I hope not much more.
Because that was the cue for the Mystery Man to come out, who we likely,
I can only assume that the rest of the match was a pop on Jarrett and then the double on Sid anyway.
Exactly. It wasn't as much more than what happened anyways.
Yeah,
so there wasn't much planned for this match even to begin with.
Yeah.
So, and also too, like, Flair interrupting Michael Buffer in his intro. Michael Buffer, I believe, gets $1 million to do the Let's Get Ready to Rumble thing, and
Every
Flair
time he
just
says
cuts him off. Just another example of Ric Flair wasting money. You know what I'm saying? That's all this is.
He only got $500K that time. Yeah. He only did Let's Get, and he didn't do...
And it doesn't deliver the Mystery Man. And let's, Sid Vicious, or as I like to call him in this match, Lackadaisical Sid. Because...
Knees McGee's over here.
Exactly.
I was just kind of offended because, to your point, it's 3 hours in, and, it's this big event, and you're expecting, like, a great time, and it ends really quickly. Pretty much as my girlfriend would concur, it's kind of like my sex life, like...
You could have definitely had sex with your girlfriend in the span of this match, for sure.
A few times. A few times.
Oh, God.
A few times.
I'm not,
with
happy
foreplay.
Not that I'm shitting on your quickness, just the stamina to get right back up afterwards.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
I think compared to Lex Luger stamina, we all have it, but it was just, like I said, I was like, this was the official fight where I actually made popcorn. I'm like, okay, this is the main event, and like you said, it was 10 minutes, and to be honest, it was a lot less epic than I thought. I thought it was kind of like, oh shit, yeah, we totally forgot we've been baking people with this mystery man the whole time. Just bring him out. And
that's been the whole show of all this is who's the mystery man, mystery man, and this is we're gonna find the mystery man. No, we're not gonna see him. And also too, another mystery that I have is the fan who sprayed Goldberg in the face.
Yeah.
The dad is still in the crowd.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, my kid's a fuck up, but I paid money for these seats.
Like, you just saw your son publicly run away with Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell, and also too, another thing that's messed up about Goldberg, that's the end of his career, because I think the stipulation at the time is he was going to go on the streak.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if he lost another match, he would have to quit WCW. So now the streak was implied in this match. So now the biggest star in WCW is not going to be on Nitro the next day. So, I don't know why you do that. So now everybody's feeling like, our big franchise player. That's like saying that, Peyton Manning isn't coming back at all this year. Not only is he suspended, he's done for the entire year.
He's gone.
Yeah, how the Patriots would have felt then.
No, but you got to look at it from the perspective of a collector looking to make money, right? So his dad sees Goldberg and then chase after him, but his dad is thinking well, if Goldberg punches my son in the face, I can sell my son's face on eBay for a lot of... eBay was around in 2001, right? So he's just saying that it's worth it.
Exactly, but also, too, his son screwed over, the most popular star in WCW at this moment in time, but he's still in the crowd. But I don't know why the fans aren't turning on him, a la Steve Bartman. You know what I'm saying? Why is his dad getting, Steve Bartman-esque hate and beer thrown on him in the front row?
He totally archduked Trojan Horse the whole thing, and apparently no one beat him up over it for it.
Exactly. Now, in this match, it gets short. There's a certain instance where there's an edit, and Ric Flair's he's like, all right, it's showtime, and he gets the mystery partner.
Right.
Now, I'm not exactly sure on the edits. I've been trying to figure it out myself. But there's an instance that happens in this match where Sid jumps off the second rope, and he's supposed to give a knee to Scott Steiner, and I believe that was also the cue for him to come out, hence why they made the cut when they did. And Sid's leg...
Well, let's just let you watch.
Let you watch what happens, Evan Pittfield. Okay. This is very interesting for a non-wrestling fan to see.
While we were watching the mystery opponent come in, now Sid Vicious up on top. That is so difficult. Look at the left foot. That is so difficult to watch. We've seen it already. Another angle already so many times, and it's still just...
He actually looks like one of my wrestling figures. in real life. So they are posable in real life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Obviously, the compound fracture of the tibia and the fibula last night.
That's quite vicious. No.
Brother, you have solid 3 so far for that set. Good on you.
That was... so I watched an event once, kind of related with my friend as a huge NWA fan, and there's this De Silva guy. And the same thing pretty much happened. He kicked someone. And his leg just turned into a noodle. It was pretty gross.
He was shin checking him and fucking snapped his good. Fuck him.
That's
I don't like him.
But that was his leg. I think did a full rotation.
Yeah, he should have snapped in half.
He officially has RPM with his left leg. That was pretty gross.
Yeah, but just completely shattered. And I looked up some information on this, and Sid talked about this in a shoot interview with our video, And he said that Johnny Ace was the one that pressured him into doing that knee off the second. And he said, I had to do it because it was the cue for them to come out, but I didn't want them to do it. And they forced me to do it. From what I know from WCW at this time, and what everybody says about it, they say that the inmates were running the asylum.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Sid Vicious could have been like, no, I'm going to chokeslam Scott Steiner. That's the cue now. And I don't necessarily feel too bad for Sid in this sense. After watching, I always felt bad for him, but then after watching his performance in this match, just kind of lackadaisically going through stuff.
Yeah.
I think he was dealing with some injuries at this time, too.
Sure is now.
He said that he had a hard time putting his belt on at this time. He was back. I don't know what was going on.
His leg belt.
Yeah, or whatever. But, like, he was just, like, not doing very well and just slowly moving through this entire match. It's just one of those things of, I don't know quite what was going on, but it's like that idea of, like, not respecting the danger that exists in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Not to do anything like that, and he just got caught. And obviously, the mystery partner is unveiled as Road Warrior Animal, which nothing against Animal. I feel like this is a letdown because all we've seen from WCW when a mystery partner or something, because of the whole back and forth of the Monday Night Wars, are we going to see somebody from WWE come over? Like, if Val Venus came over in the main event, would have been huge. But nobody expected, like, Road Warrior Animal
Nor gave a shit.
And he just joined up with Scott Steiner and Jeff Jarrett, and now they're together. But it's Ric Flair who brought him in. So it's like a double turn. And it's a situation like, I hate it when they do that because pro wrestling, we're not that smart. We're not that clever.
No.
You know?
Well, the cool part about this is that this has helped me confirm the answer to the question of how did this get booked. And clearly it's, everything that sucks we'll just cut out. So no one sees how we got booked and didn't get canceled. Because that was definitely edited. I did not see him break his leg.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking, okay, there's 3 hours of essentially build up on this mystery character. And the final match sucks. And his fucking leg breaks. And then the mystery character, half the audience is like, who the fuck is this? The other half is like, oh, that kind of is a letdown.
Yeah. An anticlimactic reveal.
I mean,
but of course, then it was just one stop and an elbow drop and done.
Done. And that's it. And just a stomp, boom, that's it. It's over. The foot stomps of death. And that's what ends this pay-per-view.
I'm pretty sure the entire thing had a different ending planned. But the coach was kind of like, dude, Game of Thrones comes on in like 10 minutes, so you guys need to hurry this shit up.
Hey, this guy's leg's fucking broke. Can we go?
Yeah, I think that was and that's the thing, too. I think the finish happened they had an EMT in the ring.
It
was just, like, the most awkward thing ever, and you could see it, like, and it was just...
Yeah.
They made it classy, like, as they're carrying him out, like, the credits are rolling, and it has, like, the Japanese, like, fin. It's like, what happened here? It was entertaining. Even without the broken leg part being in there, though.
Yeah, but that would have put it over the top.
Yeah.
That'd
have been the highlight.
That was ridiculous. You know, that's why I'm not in good shape, because I don't want that to happen. So I'm
because if you got in good shape, people will expect you to jump off of things and knee people in the face.
Yeah, I'm minimizing my risk as far as
I'm
concerned. So it was an inspiration.
But yeah, I think it's rather shitty that he dumps it on Johnny Ace.
Yeah.
So now this whole thing has occurred. I don't know. Did you look much at the Wikipedia page for this?
No, but if you did, please. I ran out of time, so please jump on
So this is the only thing. The promotional poster for WCW SIN has Sting on it. But he's not there. But they don't talk about why Sting's not in the fucking deal.
I do remember that, yes.
But yeah, Sting's on the poster, just on the show. Unless that was supposed to be the fake secret partner at one point. I don't know the build up to this or anything. I don't know what Sting's doing at 2001.
But still, he would have turned on.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't have made it any better.
No.
Just the bait and switch, huh?
But I don't. That's weird. I didn't know if there was any. If you knew anything about why Sting was there.
No, I tried to do a little bit. I'd love for somebody to know.
So if you're sitting at home and know why Sting did not show up at SIN 2001.
Mm-hmm. So Sting and Sid Vicious's left leg didn't show up for this.
Sting didn't show up. His leg left early.
Yeah.
Yes. That is exactly what happened. But if you guys can get to the bottom of this, we've actually put in a lot of time on this podcast.
Is that time correct?
That time is
from
correct.
From 0 to now?
Yes.
We're almost as long as this paper. Let's take it home, boys.
Yes, exactly.
I was told that every minute's $1 for me, so I'm just trying to keep it going.
I hear you. Well, fuck.
Well, no.
Yeah, it's $1 for you to give unto us.
Unto us.
Well, Monopoly dollars are accepted, right?
Yeah, they are now.
Yeah, they are
All
now.
right, good. I brought a few.
But anyways, if you guys have some more information about this show and why it was booked and how it was so bad, please, for all your corrections, tweet me at ManScoutManning, or you can email me at jake@sslshow.com. Also, too, make sure you log on to the website, howdidthisgetbooked.com, and make sure you subscribe on iTunes and Google Play. Also, to subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/ManScoutManning, and follow on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/ManScoutManning. Let you guys know that the next episode we will be covering the WWE pay-per-view In Your House, D-Generation X, ladies and gentlemen. So it's another network show. I would make sure that you log on there and check that show out. But this has been another edition of How Did This Get Booked?
Woo! All right.